Hi, welcome back to my kitchen. My name is Linda, and today we're going to be making something called almond finger cookies, but I like to add some chocolate chip bits to them just to add that special something. These are not too sweet, but just enough, sort of like shortbread cookies. I haven't made them in a long time, so we might have to learn a little bit together here. Today I'm going to need a mixing bowl, 3 different measuring cups, 1 cup, 3/4 of a cup, and 2/3 of a cup, a tablespoon and a teaspoon, wooden spoon, electric mixer with beaters, a cookie sheet, and I'm using a scale because the almonds need to be weighed. The ingredients that I'll be using today are white sugar, icing sugar, salt, vanilla, butter, flour, Chipits, and almonds. Before you get started, make sure you always wash your hands thoroughly with soap, at least 20 seconds, get a good lather. That's really important to having a great recipe. So we can go ahead and get started. For this recipe, you don't need to preheat your oven yet, because partway through, the dough needs to be frozen for 15 minutes, and that's a good time to start preheating your oven. So for right now, let's go ahead and start measuring our dry ingredients. So 1 cup of all-purpose flour, 1/2 cup of unsalted butter. Can't remember if I mentioned that or not, but you do need actually softened unsalted butter for this recipe. Okay, 2 tablespoons of sugar. That's white sugar, of course. Teaspoon of vanilla extract. And this says 1/8 of a teaspoon of salt, optional. So instead of using table salt from here, what I've gone and done is taken a salt shaker, and I'm just gonna do a few shakes like that. Now my next instruction is to blend this with a beater until well blended. So I'm going to do that now. Okay, the mixture is nice and crumbly now. I'll just show you how that looks. One thing that's important to remember when you're beating a mixture that's fairly dry, like this one is make sure you beat on a low setting, a low speed, because otherwise you're gonna have flour flying up in your face and everywhere. Okay, so I've gone ahead and beat that until well blended. Now it requires almonds, and this recipe calls for 2 ounces of almonds. So I've bought these slivered almonds. They need to be finely chopped. So what I'm going to do is I have a scale here, and I'm going to go ahead and set it to ounces. And that's just about 2 ounces right there. Now these are pretty small, but they do need to be finely chopped. So what I'm going to do is actually put them in this sandwich bag. And get the air out as I seal it up. Now I'm going to take my wooden spoon and I'm going to smack it several times to chop up the almonds even smaller. Okay, I've gone ahead and made my almonds smaller. I'm going to dump them in now. And I'm going to take my hands and just mix it together. Until it's in big clumps. You'll be able to feel it. The butter helps it to mix together well. We want it in nice big chunks. And then the next step is to put it in the freezer for 15 minutes. That will make it easier to handle. At this time, I'm actually going to go ahead and add 2/3 of a cup of Chipits to the recipe. This is going to add that nice sweet taste to it, but not too sweet. Okay, so I've got the dough mixed together kind of in a log like you see here. I'm going to go ahead and put this in the freezer for 15 minutes, and I'm going to turn my oven on to preheat it to 375 Fahrenheit. So I'll see you back here in 15 minutes. Okay, it's been 15 minutes. My oven is preheated. I've taken my dough out of the freezer, and I've also re-washed my hands again because we're going to be needing them for this, and you will want to work with clean hands. So I think we're ready to go. The next step is to start working with the cookie dough, and because these are called fingers, what it kind of wants you to do is make small little logs like that. So that's what I'm going to do, is I'm going to make these small little logs, and I'm going to fill up my baking sheet with them. It says about 2 inches long, so I think I'll make these just a little bit longer, because that's definitely a more healthy serving. And by healthy, I mean delicious.
Okay, so
the recipe says this is supposed to make 20 fingers. I must have made mine a little bit bigger because I have 16, but there's nothing wrong with that. So these are ready to go in the oven, and 375, my oven's preheated, and this says bake 17 minutes or until golden. So I'm probably going to set my timer for 15 minutes and check on them then and see if they need a little bit longer or not. Okay, the timer has just gone. It's been 15 minutes and I'm going to check on the cookies. Oh, those look so good. They are just starting to get golden. I think I'm gonna give them one more minute, maybe a minute and a half, and then take them out. Okay, I've taken the cookies out of the oven, and what it says now is to wait for 2 minutes and then to roll the cookies in icing sugar. So we've got 3/4 of a cup of icing sugar here. I'm going to dump it back into my mixing bowl from before. I'm going to dump a couple of cookies in there. Let me just grab a plate. Okay, let's roll these cookies around a little bit and put them on the plate. Okay, there's the plate of cookies. Now it says to cool completely before eating. Those are going to be amazing. It's going to be really hard to wait, but I'll try to. So that is almond finger cookies with chocolate chips. Enjoy, and thanks for watching.